Good morning. Hi, Roseanne. Hey, everybody. Got my little diffuser going. It's cold and rainy here today. Cold and rainy. Hey, Mom. I have a cat in my lap, too. I kicked him off, but he won't leave me alone. His feet are cold. Hi. So, oh, that's cool. We love Byron Katie here. We do a lot of talking about deconstructing our stories about the world and telling different stories. Thank you for the shares. My name's Michelle Wolf. You can find me at caddyshackdesigns.com. There's a direct link to my website in my bio, so you can just go there and click it. Oh my God. Michelle's been having Michelle Lee right here. She's been having all kinds of synchronicities happen to her lately. Oh, great. And we have some people on here who are starting the next Desire Map workshop. And they got their packages today, so that's awesome, Roseanne. Great. The next Desire Map workshop for women is here. Actually, all of them. Women, men, and young girls here. And boys, we're just waiting for enough boys to show up. So the link is the same, but the next class doesn't start till March 1st. So today is our Tao Te Ching Byron Katie Day. So let's get started. I hope you're having a good day so far. We're all very sleepy around here because it's so rainy and cold. Which reminds me. Oh, I can't reach that switch. Today is number 36. The Small Dark Light in this book. We're doing 2 translations. We'll start here. I know, right? I was like, oh, more rain. More rain. So here's what we have today. What seeks to shrink must first have grown. What seeks weakness surely was strong. What seeks its ruin must first have risen. What seeks to take has surely given. This is called the small dark light. The soft, the weak prevail over the hard, the strong. In my mind, that's like willow trees versus oak trees. Willow trees bend and flow under duress, and a lot of times oak trees snap. Her notes say, there is a third stanza in all the text. Fish should stay underwater. The real means of rule should be kept dark. Or more literally, the state's sharp weapons ought not to be shown to the people. This Machiavellian truism seems such an anticlimax to the great theme stated in the first verses that I treat it as an intrusion. Perhaps a commentator's practical example of the small dark light. So she didn't like that third stanza. So let's see how Stephen Mitchell interpreted that. Stephen Mitchell's version is here. Let's see what he has to say about it. It does sound sneaky, doesn't it? That you want to hide your sharp weapons. But maybe you keep things in reserve and use them only when necessary. Every now and then you have to get directly sharp with someone who won't listen any other way. But make sure that that's a divinely guided act and not a vengeful, petty emotion act. You want to make sure it's the right thing. So he says, if you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. Just show people the results. That I can understand. We can talk all day long about these things, but unless we're really practicing them and we're not showing results in our own lives, no one's going to listen. The best way to demonstrate what connection to God and connection to Source and love looks like, okay, I'll check it out, is to live it. There's a quote running around somewhere. I actually might have it right here. Let me see if it's right here on the laptop. It's by Madeline Engel, who I love. She says, we do not draw people to Christ by loudly discrediting what they believe, by telling them how wrong they are and how right we are, but by showing them a light that is so lovely that they want with all their hearts to know the source of it. That's the best way to demonstrate to people that you'd like to help grow what it looks like. You show and live, your light so strongly, and you let people see the outworkings of your work in your daily life. And that inspires people to ask you what you're doing. And then you can talk. And then you can show and teach. But if you're trying to show and teach, or even worse, if you're trying to shout, and even worse than that, if you're trying to outshout people, no one can hear you. So I'll say that again. And we do not draw people to love or to Christ or to Source by loudly discrediting what they believe, by telling them how wrong they are and how right we are, but by showing them a light that is so lovely that they want with all their hearts to know the source of it. That's Madeline L'Engle. It's L'Engle. She wrote some amazing young adult books that I read more than once and now can't remember the title. But she's a great writer. And thank you for the shares and the hearts and all the good stuff. I'm trying to get situated. The tripod's really too close to me because I had a kitty cat in my lap. So let me move it back a little bit. So let's see how Byron Katie interprets all that. This is our Byron Katie book. Such good stuff. We were talking last night in the monthly Desire Map get-together. If you've been through a Desire Map workshop, monthly I host a group call where you can come ask questions and ask like, okay, now this is happening in my life, and how does knowing how I want to feel help? And we were talking last night about how when you start to live these principles, synchronicities in your life just go through the roof. It's like you have a direct hotline, and for some people getting direct phone calls from Source through other people, it's like the minute you ask a question, the answer shows up. The minute you have a problem, the solution to it shows up. And all you're doing is staying connected to Source. And that's it. Any problem that you're having is just dissolved because the story around it that's making it a problem in the first place is dissolved. So she says, oh, I'm totally lost in my book here. Let me just find this. So chapter 36. It's a beautiful thing what's happening here. Okay, I've come to see there's no such thing as criticism, there are only observations. And there is no observation that doesn't enlighten me if my mind is open to it. What could anyone say to me that I couldn't agree with? If someone tells me I'm a terrible person, I go inside myself, and in 2 seconds I can find where in my life I have been a terrible person. It doesn't take that much searching. This is how no one can hurt you. If you go ahead and own your mistakes, if you go ahead and own your personal weaknesses, people can't hurt you with them because you already know that sometimes you're a bitch. and sometimes you're petty, and sometimes you're shallow, and sometimes you gossip and then hate yourself for it. If you go ahead and own that stuff, if someone says, you're kind of a bitch, you can go, sometimes, and sometimes I'm not. That's the end of defending an ego. That's the end of arguing with people and their labeling of you, because you can't make them change their label of you, no matter how hard you try. I snore too, pretty bad. My poor husband wears earplugs because I have sinus problems, and so I'm always a little stuffed up. Well, I have allergies, so I snore a lot, and it's pretty loud. If someone says I'm a wonderful person, I can find that too. This is about self-realization, not about right and wrong. It's about freedom. When someone tells me that I lied, I can go inside and see if they're right. If I can't find it in the situation that they're bringing up, I can find it in some other situation, maybe old, decades ago. I don't say that out loud, but inside me it's a joining. Yeah, no one can embarrass you either if you're like, yeah, I'm gassy. I worked with a girl once. I loved her so much. If she needed to fart, she just did. She would warn you. Her name was Sarah, and she was so awesome. She was like shameless. She just didn't care. She was like, yeah, I have to fart, so watch out. That's like, I can't quite do that yet, but I loved that about her. And she was only like 20-something, early 20s. So usually at the age we're most embarrassed about bodily function, she was just like, yeah, I gotta go. I gotta let this out. So she was hilarious. Very comfortable in her skin. So very comfortable. I just loved it. Some of them are, yeah. That's right, bitches. I gotta fart. She was so funny. So, if someone calls her a liar, she's saying that she might not be lying in that situation, but she can find a point in her life where she did tell a lie. So she can at least go ahead and join with them and not defend an ego. When you're defending an ego, everything goes south pretty quick. So we can agree. That person is realizing who I used to be, the very thing I began realizing 20 years ago. I fall in love with people who are angry at me. They're like people suffering on their deathbeds. We don't kick them and say, get up. It's the same when someone is angry and attacking you. Yes. This is a confused human being. And if I'm clear, where is it that I couldn't meet him? That's when we are the happiest, when we're giving ourselves without condition. I have a good deal of practice at this. Paul, my ex-husband, used to yell at me a lot. Hi, Linda. Especially after I got a little clarity. He wasn't happy with the changes. He would ask, who are you, goddammit? Where's the woman I married? What did you do with her? You don't love me. If you loved me, you'd stay home and never travel. Blah, blah, blah. And of course, he was right from his point of view. Okay, great. His story overrode reality every time, and when he yelled at me, his chest and face would expand. He'd get red and loud and wave his arms a lot, and all I could see was a dear man who was frightened of losing me and who was doing the best he could. He was yelling at himself, thinking it was me, and I would just love and appreciate him and listen to his complaints, as if his imagination created the wife who didn't care and moved farther and farther away from reality, so far that the distance seemed unbridgeable. Finally, in his hurt and anger, he would turn away from me as if I didn't exist, and to him I didn't. I see the screen keeps freezing up. I hope that's not, I hope we're not losing our signal. I know, right? She's like an example of humanity that it's really hard to even wrap your head around. Okay, good. You've got some wonkiness, I've got some wonky too. If a criticism hurts you, that means you're defending against it, and your body will let you know very clearly when you're feeling hurt or defensive. If you don't pay attention, the feeling rises and becomes anger and attack in the form of defense or justification. It's not right or wrong, it just isn't intelligent. It's not effective. War is not intelligent, it doesn't work. If you're really interested in your own peace of mind, you'll become more and more aware that sense of wanting to defend yourself against criticism. And eventually you'll be fascinated to find the missing pieces of yourself that your critic is so helpfully pointing out. And you'll say, tell me more. Tell me where I'm more of a liar. Tell me where I'm more of a bitch, so that I can become enlightened even further. So that's definitely a different way to live. Criticism is a gift for those who are interested in self-realization. For those who aren't, welcome to hell. Welcome to being at war with your partner, your boss, your children. Anyone who might criticize you is now your enemy. When you open your arms to criticism, you are your own direct path to freedom. Yeah. Because you can't change us or what we think about you. Definitely. You are your only way to stand with a friend as a friend, even when she perceives you as an enemy. And until you can be intimate with us, however badly we think of you, your work isn't done. So, loving your critics, loving your enemy, is a much deeper work when you look at it this way. It's a trite saying, love your enemies. It's trite when you don't understand it. But the depth of that, meaning that when you can love them, you can love yourself even more, that makes it entirely different. Hi, Sarah. Loving your enemies, loving your critics, most of it. Good morning. We're on the Byron Katie book, and my screen keeps freezing up. I have to go watch your scope. I heard you scoped yesterday, and I haven't got to go see it yet. We're talking about loving our enemies as a source of self-realization, and our critics, and not defending against criticism. Just not even wasting our time with it. The enemies disappear because I realize that's them, that's their story. Correct. You start out loving your enemies, and then you realize they're just reflections of you. Yeah, you pray for their enlightenment too. Hi. You better tap hearts on that screen, buddy. It's like 100 yards away. Nice. Compassion. Yeah, as you pray for them, you find compassion for them, and then compassion for yourself. You better start tapping. So you better start tapping. And then you have nothing to defend then. If you don't have any spots of shame that are hiding in the background, there's nothing that someone can expose in you or about you that's upsetting to you, because you already know it's there, and you've already owned it. So no one has any power over you. No one can manipulate your emotions, because they can't make you feel that. That's the end of the guilt trip. No one can guilt trip you anymore. You're, yes, transparent. You're transparent. So there's no shame. When you can pray for them, their power over you goes away too. Yeah, here I am. In all, warts and all. You can't embarrass someone like that. You can't shame them. You can't humiliate them. It's pretty nice. It's funny now that your mother can't say anything that bothers you. She doesn't bother you anymore. That's pretty good progress there. After you've done inquiry for a while, you can listen to any criticism without defense or justification, openly and delightedly. It forces you to see them as a child of God too, so how can you hate them then? Yes, your mom can't get to you. That's really good. Because we all are. It helps you remember that, like she says, they're just confused. They're just asleep. They're just lost. And so how can you hate someone that's confused? Like she said, you don't kick people on their deathbeds and tell them to get up. We're all connected and we forget, and prayer helps us remember. That's hilarious, Roseanne. And it drives them crazy. Yeah. It's the end of trying to control what can't ever be controlled, other people's perception. Gossip can't hurt you anymore. Oh, I missed that something about Amelia. It was vulnerable. Was it Amelia's scope? Because I'll go look. I got to look for Sarah's too. People can gossip about you and it doesn't bother you anymore. It might sting for a minute and then you remember, oh yeah, that's just their story. It's okay. You don't go try and figure it out. You don't waste time thinking about it. You don't let it be hurtful. The mind rests. Life becomes kinder and then totally kind, even in the midst of apparent turmoil, and this is so true. When you're aware of being a student, everyone in the world becomes your teacher. In the absence of defensiveness, gratitude is all that's left. So when someone comes at you and blasts you, you check. You do self-check first. Is it true? Am I really acting like that? Is there something I need to say I'm sorry for? Is there some anger that I need to explore and ask questions about? And if there isn't, you wish them well and hope that they wake up soon. Amelia, who did a mantra inspired by, about being vulnerable yesterday. Okay. In your vulnerability, you're stronger than you can ever be without it. Yay, Susan! If you're totally transparent, you're incredibly powerful because no one can control you. Thank you. We'll take that. I'll receive that. Who can hurt you if you have nothing to defend against? Who can shame you? Who can harm you? Nobody. Because there's nothing to defend against. It's the defense that shuts down the love. And we've talked a lot about how love is our purpose. Expressing love is our purpose in whatever form that takes. And when we shut down love flowing out of us, it hurts. There's nothing they can hold against you. There's no incident from your past they can pull up and hurt you. There's nothing. There's just nothing. And the mind rests and life becomes kinder. It's true. Yeah. When I started letting go of shame happened when I was doing a lot of EMDR. There's actually been studies done when you do EMDR therapy, and tapping sometimes helps too. The shame disappears by itself, even though that's not what you're working on in particular. You'll find that people can't shame you. You don't worry so much. You can make mistakes and not beat yourself up about it. There's side effects of tapping. It's secondary benefits that you're not going for that, but you get. And when that started to shift, it was so freeing. Not worrying about making mistakes so much. Not worrying about being embarrassed or looking stupid or the things that used to bother me that don't bother me even a little bit anymore. When I first started scoping, I'd get off and struggle with I screwed that up, or I wish I'd done this differently, or I wish I'd done that differently. But I didn't stay there. It's good. You can get EFT stuff free on Periscope. Melanie Bundock, Bundock, is a good person for EFT. You can get it on YouTube with Brad Yates, Yates. He has a tapping script for everything you could ever imagine. Yeah. Do more of that. So, to me, that is Taoism too. That's the Tao Te Ching of flowing like water and just not fighting against it. Not fighting reality, not fighting your own mind. I did a scope yesterday about self-talk. Fighting that is a ridiculous waste of energy. You're just aware of it. Just acknowledge it, all of it. You don't fight anything anymore. And when you're relaxed, life gets pretty easy. So what questions do you have, if any? For people who donate through the PayPal button, thank you for that. I made it a little easier for you by putting a PayPal link in my bio. It says paypal.me/MichelleWolf11. Giving that negative voice a name is helpful, yeah. You can donate straight through that link now. You don't have to go to the website first. And I really appreciate that. And it's also not necessary. It's nice when I get it, and I appreciate it, but I'll be here anyway. Make your... Easy to send cash. Cash. Did anybody win any numbers on the Powerball? We matched 2, which I don't think gets us anything. When they said there was a winning ticket in Tennessee, I was hoping it was Tanya. But then I remembered she doesn't live in Tennessee. She's from Tennessee. Cash. It's okay. It's totally okay. It's fun to think about. So let your life be the example. As things are changing for you, tell people. I'm doing this work every day. Oh, my mom got $4. Sweet! Let them know what you're up to if they're interested. But you can let them know what's changing in your life. I mean, a lot of times people will just see it and they'll ask you, what are you doing? You look different. What are you doing? Things seem to be happening for you. I don't know if Linda's still here, but we did some coaching with her on the call last night. And when she was, concerned about her stuff selling, and when she hung up the phone, a mala that she'd made had sold. Just that quick. Cha-ching! Trust that your stuff is going to sell. If that's the right way for you and you're in alignment and you love what you're doing. Same with the oils. I don't push these oils. I tell you what I'm doing with them and how it's affecting me, and they sell. Same with my sister selling her oils. She doesn't push them on people. She tells people what she's doing with them and how it's affecting her, and they sell. It's slow, and then that's fine because it's in alignment. You put your stuff out there. Yeah. Slow growth is okay. It helps keep you centered. Fast growth can sometimes knock you so far off kilter that it's hard to get your way back until you get used to income, until you get used to making money. You're getting oil soon. Yay! It's natural. It's easy. It's in alignment with your heart. Yes, you make things because your soul needs to make it. And if it sells, yay, yahoo. But that's not your goal. Your goal is expression of your heart in the world through whatever vehicle that takes. Well, I appreciate that. I would never, if you have a relative or whatever, I'm not going to, fight you over it. I won't wrestle you to the ground and be like, no, you have to buy from me. But I appreciate that a lot. You get a lot of support from us with your oils, too. We were talking with Linda about taking your... Right. No, you must. Oh, no. Sarah, you just got blocked by accident. I hate when I do that. Getting in alignment with this stuff helps you feel the creative impulse that is your expression of yourself in the world, your authentic expression. And you don't worry about where it goes, right? We talk about this a lot. You feel the impulse, you follow it, you don't worry about where it's going to take you. That might be your vehicle, or it might lead you to something else that's a perfect expression of your authenticity in the world. And that's powerful stuff. And yet, let your product give you the prize. I think she did. You unblocked it, right, Susan? You know how to do that. I'm really every day more, you look like someone who's leaving our scope. Bye-bye. Grandma. I am a grandma. You look like my best friend's grandma. Often when we spend money, we feel we need to make it worthwhile by selling or recouping expenses. Yeah. We get tangled up, where we just stay in our pure expression, and ask the product, if you can, like oils, we can't ask them what they want to be sold at. The prices are fixed, but asking your malas, or asking your jewelry, or asking your artwork what it wants to be sold at, you might get a number that surprises you. Yes, so true. We can't see the value of spending for ourselves. But that's then not completing the cycle. Waves go in and they go out. Love comes in and it has to go back out. Otherwise it stagnates and creates backlogs that block stuff then coming in, and next thing you know, you're just frozen. So you have to be able to spend comfortably and receive comfortably to complete that energetic cycle. Same as you have to be able to receive love and send love out in equal balance. Yeah, not too far one way or the other. A swinging pendulum effect is not healthy either. You buy all the beads for yourself, then offer them to someone else. That's perfect. You buy all the beads that make you happy, and then offer them to others. And if they take them, they take them. And if they don't, they don't. There's no attachment there. And they sell before you can even get them completed. I love mine. The mala that I got from you has been in every Reiki healing medicine wheel I've set up since I got it. It just goes there. And I never deliberately try to put anything in those circles. Linda, I think you were offline when we were telling her how your mala sold the minute you realigned. It is a happy mala. And it always dives right in. I just wander the house and find things to put in those medicine wheels, and it's always right there. I love that. So amazing! Synchronicities everywhere. So Michelle sent me a message last night that she was hearing this song in her head, Rock the Boat. Remember that song, Rock the Boat? Don't rock the boat, baby. It's a terrible song. But she was hearing the chorus of that song in her head. And then this morning, the Science of Mind page posted a graphic of someone rocking the boat and talked about how you have to be true to yourself, even if that means rocking the boat. That was a few hours apart. It's amazing. That's incredible stuff. It's wildly exciting talking to the universe and having it talk back to you. God talks back to us if you listen. You ask the question, the answer comes. You're curious about something and the answer comes when you can be open to hearing it. So, and you don't have to do anything but keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting the kingdom of God first. Keep putting the kingdom of heaven first. As long as it doesn't talk back like my kids, right, with their loud mouthpiece. Shake It Off is a great theme song. Shake It Off was on just when you needed it. Yeah. Kids and their mouthpieces are like a totally different subject. Their little sassy mouthpiece. Yeah, shake it all off. That's all I have today. It's cold and it's rainy and got a couple of things to do on the computer, and then probably today will be a day of a whole lot of nothing because it's been busy all week. And then tomorrow we're going to help Morgan with heavy lifting and taking furniture and taking cribs down and putting cribs in the attic and stuff like that. So, all right, I love you guys. I'm going to eat some breakfast too. That sounds good too. Your kid never shuts up. If he's like the universe, you're in trouble. I'm kidding. Davis never shuts up. I've never heard a living human being who can talk as much as that kid can talk. And he's so sweet you can't kill him for it. But sometimes you're just like, please stop talking. He's such a sweetie though. I don't have to live with him though, so I can say that. Oh, he's too cute to kick out. All right, well, have a great day. Oh gosh, 3 miles of talking the entire time. Have a wonderful day. Ask your questions and listen for the universe's answers. Stay connected to love and follow your creative impulses. And just watch what happens. I guarantee you, your life's going to be awesome. You too. Love you guys. Bye. I'll see you tomorrow.